welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV, where we give you the opportunity to see and hear the reactions of Nigerians regarding every single headlines as it keeps unfolding. Eyo Kame is my name, and today I have a guest in the house, and we're doing an in-house show regarding how the weather is currently here in Port Harcourt. I have one of my top analysts here in person of Oluchukwu Anthony. You're welcome, my dear.
Thank you very much.
All right, quickly on we'll be looking at few headlines, and lest I forget, Happy World Food Day, and exactly what we'll be talking about today. Now, quickly, let's run into the headlines and see what the headline has for us this very day. Now, first on our newspaper headlines, we're considering The Guardian. A very catchy headline here says, World Food Day, inflation weary Nigerians, begging, borrowing for survival. You can read that up on page 6. Like I earlier said, I'll just be reading few headlines. So quickly to the Daily Independent. PDP governors resolve NWC crisis. Reunite factions. Details of that is found on the front page of the Daily Independent. And lastly, we're still seeing on Daily Trust, it says, PDP crisis. Domingo may step down next week. Quite an interesting story here, still on the Daily Trust on page 4 of the Daily Trust. All right, now quickly let's run into what we are discussing this very day. You're welcome once again.
Thank you.
All right, how have you been?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good. The country is not affecting you, right?
It's affecting everybody. Well, it's one go do now.
We still survive. Thank you very much. Now we'll be talking about the World Food Day. A very interesting thing. First, do you think as a country we are due to celebrate days like this, the World Food Day?
I don't think we should be celebrating World Food Day because literally we are starving.
Okay.
I can't be buying a cup of beans 500 naira and celebrating World Food Day. I'm not importing beans.
Okay.
We don't import beans. Virtually everything we eat in this place is something we cultivate ourselves, something we do ourselves. So why is it becoming unbearable for us? And we want to celebrate what? If other countries are celebrating, we should just be celebrating with them, not celebrating ourselves.
Personal, right?
Yeah.
No, and the headline on the Guardian here says, inflation wearies Nigerians, begging, borrowing for survival. Now, I want you to pick it from the angle of begging before we get to address the part of borrowing, because we know of late, you'll be hearing on the headlines, federal government are out to borrow money from the World Bank and the likes of it. Now, let's talk about we Nigerians. Let's leave our federal government out of the... let's leave them aside for now. Let's get to address we Nigerians, the aspect of borrowing. You know, it has become...
Is it the aspect of borrowing or the aspect of begging?
Begging, actually. I beg your pardon. Begging, precisely. If you cast your mind back to walking down the street, it looks as if the rate of begging, I must say, begging has become a major occupation in Nigeria. What do you think actually led to where we are?
Is it begging for survival or begging in terms of those in the streets begging for food or begging for money? I want to understand the angle of begging.
Prior to this time, we have people that beg don't have what to eat. That is the notion. But of late, I feel people that have still, and they tend to see begging as a means of looting, a means of occupation. Now that's like a new skill of getting money from people. What's your take about that?
Of the begging, is it begging for survival or begging their fellow people for money?
Begging for survival and also begging their fellow men for it's like a routine now in our streets.
Because literally everybody's begging the federal government for survival.
Okay.
If it's that angle, we are begging.
Now coming back to the street is what we're talking about.
Streets. If I have food to beg, I'll beg.
Okay, so you're.
Let's just be honest, okay? What we faced last year, this is like triple, if not tenth of what we faced last year. We are seeing it this year within the space of how many months? You bought a painter of rice or probably beans last year or early this year. Per se, let me not even go too far. January, you're buying like 3K, 3.5, and now you're buying 7,000 naira, 9,000 naira. Like literally every day. And you said if you see who you beg, my brother beg.
Okay, so you're actually advising even those that have actually turned. We know begging was for the poor. for those that don't have. Now, the major problem is here in Port Harcourt,
Because
you
it's
see the
affecting
corporate
everybody.
beggars.
That's to tell you that the inflation has affected both big and small. Do you understand?
Okay.
It's showing that it has affected every. Literally, we're saying in every country you have the poor masses, you have the middle class, you have the high
Yeah,
class, and
okay.
you have the
The
what do you
upper
call
class.
it, the upper class. But in this case now, upper, lower, middle, listo, everybody is being affected in one way or the other. Unless those people that are looting are making us suffer, probably they are the ones not feeling it.
Okay.
Do you understand? They go to other countries and they don't know what's going on here. But we that are here, we know what's happening. Do you understand? Anybody, some people have parked their cars.
Okay. Obviously, of late.
It's not that people don't have cars, or they have, but they parked it because how much you want to go to LMA, you buy how many liters of fuel that will take you there to and from. Won't you park it and just enter
Obviously.
transport and go to a public transport?
Cuts
and
down
go
the
to it?
cost.
They are suffering it. Not that they don't have means of transportation, but because financial ability to be able to maintain that status of theirs is the problem.
Okay.
So they're literally everybody's begging. That's just it.
Now let's get to address food sufficiency in our nation. We have a state in our dear nation that is the food basket of the nation. Now, most times I feel they are not living up to the responsibility. Okay, generally, the production rate in our dearest nation, Nigeria, when it comes to agriculture. Now, let's take it back to agriculture. What do you think has actually limited the agricultural sector? Because anytime you're talking about food, it takes our minds back to agriculture.
One, I won't say it is being limited. I would just say that there are lots of things affecting Shao. Yeah, we can put limitations because you come to let's go back to the locals in the timid, like inside the villages first. I'm not talking about agricultural farmers now. Let's go to those villagers that fend for themselves. Like they plant maybe in one plot of land, you see cassava, you see corn, you see vegetables, and all of that. Now, when they tend to sell, you understand? They are selling not because they will tell you dollars is high and everything. Now it is not affecting their crops because they plant or they pay for the land or they lease the land,
Okay.
but because they need to be able to buy that which they are not producing themselves. For instance, which is the rice, the beans, and the rest of the things
Obviously.
you're buying. I can't plant. I'm planting because I need to be able to sell, get money, and get what I don't have. Now, if I'm selling at a low rate because I'm not because I don't want to get a higher profit. What happens after selling? How am I able to purchase my other needs?
Okay.
That is what they are thinking. Now, you excluding the federal government is not possible. They are involved.
They are greatly involved.
Yes, because you can't keep. Okay, now fuel in question. Now the petroleum in question. Say, and then what's his name? Aliko Dangote is now supplying.
Okay.
So why is it still high?
Now it's actually supplying at a higher rate as at
Fuel is
last month.
affecting everything we do.
Okay.
You are saying agriculture. We have our farmlands and everything. What happens to laborers?
Okay.
Laborers will increase the money to work because they need to feed. You're buying fertilizers to maintain the crops or to kill weeds. It's money.
Obviously,
Now, when you want to transport those goods,
it still involves money.
and those things boils down to fuel. So we excluding them is wrong. They are meant. They know that this is literally affecting everything. Tomorrow, now let's even okay. For instance, now you said tomorrow our fuel will enter 1.5 now per liter. It takes less than 3 days.
Everything in the market.
Now,
actually
some people
skyrocketed.
know that they don't have old goods sold that
Okay.
they've not bought, but because they feel like if they sell at that rate they bought, what if they want to go back to the market to purchase the new one now?
Obviously.
They will have to go and get money, either borrow or loan to be able to get because
In order
they
to
are-
meet up.
to meet up to get. So they are literally adding to the old ones they have, not because they bought it at that rate, but because they feel like me going back to the market, how am I able to purchase the new one if I don't increase?
I don't increase. So the issue of food sufficiency in Nigeria, you're actually tagging it back to the federal government.
Yes, we are tagging it because fuel affects everything we do.
So and you don't feel we the common masses, just like the illustrations you gave,
Yeah.
don't you think we tend to affect the happenings around us? Because there are times where
we have our own parts to play,
Okay.
but like I told you, they are still doing for themselves. Not because they feel like Like you said, okay, let them not join federal government. Let them be different. Let them act different. If they do so, would you be able to fund them when they want to buy those things they don't have?
Obviously.
You can't fund them. Do you understand? Because for instance, I own 7 hectares of land and I cultivate rice and everything. It's rice I'm working on,
Okay.
and I want to sell. I'll sell at a rate that will bring me profit and income to be able to go back and get those things. And now I'm buying other things that I don't produce myself. I buy from others, which has their own price tag.
Okay.
So I can't sell at the rate I feel like, okay, to help people. Now the only people that can do that when it comes to that sector is people that feel like, okay, they have other means of businesses,
Okay.
not one particular business. They have other businesses they do that fund them and their capitals, because for you to do business is profits you're looking
Obviously.
for.
That's the goal.
It's profits. Now your profits is to be able to live up to your standard of living. That is why we do business. That is why I feel like the only thing that should have been benefiting us right now is the oil and gas.
Okay.
Because that is all we have naturally.
Naturally.
We don't need to purchase an extra item
Okay.
or purchase something else to be able to produce it.
That one.
We get our kerosene, we get our fuel, we get other things.
All natural.
Do you get me?
Okay.
So there is no need telling me you want to go and buy other things. That is why we're still putting it back to the fuel scarcity.
Okay.
We're giving it to fuel hike.
Okay.
You excluding it, what would you now hold to?
Okay.
You hold the poor masses. You can't hold them responsible.
All right. Now,
Definitely.
I know. So at this point, you're saying we're not due to celebrate the World Food Day.
Lie, we are not.
We're not.
No, definitely we're not.
Okay,
Because
now-
we can't be starving and you're celebrating World Food Day. What do you have to show for it? Nothing.
Okay. So lastly, I would actually have to let you go because of time. Now, what's your best advice regarding this day? Regardless of the fact that Nigerians, just like you rightly said, we're not due to celebrate a day like this because we're actually going through a lot as a
Definitely.
nation. Now, what's your word of advice for every single Nigerians out there regarding days like this?
My dear, we can't keep hoping on the federal government to do something.
Okay.
If you have a plot of land, go back to farming.
Okay.
Go back to agriculture.
In order
If
for
you-
food
yes,
sufficiency.
If you can't do it yourself, get people to do it for you and pay them to, and you produce. If you don't even want to sell, you eat.
Okay.
Get something for yourself. You understand? If you feel like, okay, there are lots of things when it comes to agriculture. Nigeria has land.
It has what it takes.
It has hectares of lands. Let's leave office, let's carry back. At the end of the day, you pay me 6K, 50. Okay, imagine minimum wage now. We've not even seen.
Well, we're yet to actually see it.
And there are people who are cultivating their farms. At least that 70K now, when it comes to your feeding, you're spending more than 70,000 naira in a
Obviously.
month for feeding. I'm not even calculating transportation. So if we can go back to farming, not excluding that it's a poor man's thing,
it's a poor
let's
man's
go
thing.
back to agriculture. Each and every, if you're opportune, you have a land or you don't, you feel like you can lease, go back to it to be able to feed yourself and reduce the costs of expenses. Because my dear, federal governments, they'll just
They
carry
actually
us up
scams.
and leave us there.
All right. Thank you
That's
very
just it.
much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's always an honor to have you around.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome back from that very quick break. Now we have another beautiful lady in the house to actually talk about the World Food Day, one of the things that gets to affect Nigerians. And we have with me in the house a very beautiful lady, just like I earlier said. Her name is Emedion Lazarus. You're welcome, my dear.
Thank you.
It feels good to have you around. All right, now quickly, a very interesting headline. It says World Food Day. Now, the big question is, should we as Nigerians celebrate days like this? The World Food Day.
Is it worth celebrating?
Okay, that's the question now. Is it worth celebrating?
It's not.
Why?
Coming from a country that we are blessed, we are naturally blessed by God in everything, natural resources, food, and every other thing. We are naturally blessed by God. But then, we don't even have the food. So what are we? What are we supposed to be using to celebrate?
Okay.
Even Benue State, that is even
The food basket of the nation.
There's no food.
There is no food. So now, why do you think, as a country that gets to produce food. Let's take, for instance, our local rice. They are generated here in Nigeria, but the cost of selling it and having to distribute it to the very common man on the street is very high. What do you think has actually resulted to the food scarcity we are having? Do you think it's the government or it's we Nigerians?
The economy.
Okay.
Rice is even too far
Okay.
because we usually import some of the rice.
Yeah, okay.
Aside the local rice. Okay. Now let us use Gary for
Our Gary, our life savior.
our life savior. Gary is something that everyone should be able to have access
Okay.
to without having to stretch too much through.
Okay.
How much is a pint of Gary right now? Like a custard pint of Gary right now. Now, I feel that why it is that expensive. Aside Gary, there are other common
Local
food,
commodities.
common food that we are supposed to get with little money, but then we spend so much to get it because of how the economy is. Now, you will not expect that I sell Gary for example, and then you are selling rice,
Okay.
and then I am buying rice a cup for 500 naira, and then you are expecting to buy Gary for 100 naira.
Okay.
I want to
Also
you
make
know,
profit. Come on.
exactly. I have to get money to be able to even afford the
Obviously.
rice. So by so doing, I also have to actually increase the price of my Gary selling.
Alright.
Okay, not like most of these people willingly want to do this, but because of how the country is, they have to help themselves.
Okay, they have to help themselves.
They have to help themselves.
So
too.
for those that consciously influence the price of things in the market.
Some of them are also thieves, Sha.
Okay.
Some of them are also thieves. Sometimes we shouldn't necessarily blame the government at all points.
Okay.
Yes. So some of them are also thieves. Now some of these people that sells okay, just imagine going to the market to buy fish, ice fish for example, and then the person will be telling you that it is the government, it's the people that is making it.
Exactly.
You import the
Come
fish.
on.
You import the fish now. Come on. Even the listing as scent leaf. You, in fact, there is no scent leaf right now again for 15 naira.
Okay. Yeah, obviously.
It's 100 naira.
Yes, yes.
And then the size of that 100 naira is very
It's
small,
small.
very tiny. Okay, so now would you tell me that it is still tunable when you're planting it at the like
The
at
backyard,
your backyard?
obviously.
You understand?
So at this point, you feel we are demons to ourselves.
We are demons to ourselves, yes.
Okay.
We are demons to ourselves. We want every opportunity for something to just happen, for us to just,
Make
raise-
profit out
of it.
Okay. That's
Okay.
that's the mentality of Nigeria. Now, let it not look as if we are taking the government away from the happening because they are our leaders. They are the ones we elected up there. So it is okay for us to keep throwing stones at them.
They are actually playing the big role in this.
Obvious. All right, now let it not look as if we are taking the federal government out of the business of agriculture and food because celebrating World Food Day without having to bring our governors, our federal bodies to it looks as if it's a child's play because they are our leaders. We elected them up there and we expect more from them. Now, I want you to take it personally. What do you think the government should actually do to boost agriculture in Nigeria specifically?
I feel they should create sectors for
Okay.
these farmers, especially the local ones.
Okay.
Okay. To help them boost up their farming business.
Okay. Obviously, that's the best. Should I say that's the best of the best they can actually do? So at this point, rather than just them having to promise us different palliatives during the election, you're saying they should empower the local farmers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the palliative itself that we are not even seeing.
Okay.
Okay, now during the COVID era, I saw videos of people from other countries. Their government were actually helping the people with cash and some food items.
Not just one cup of rice.
Bountifully.
Okay.
Okay, bountifully. But here, in fact, I have seen with my own eyes, I saw old people, young people fighting to collect 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of Gary. So how now for a family that has over let's say 4 children, at least 4 children at least, how do you expect these people to manage this 1 cup of rice?
I wonder.
How? And they will not tell me that the government did not make provisions
for these things.
For large amounts of food for these people.
Okay.
But then the people that, in fact, I saw a video of someone that took some of this rice, okay, stored them up in a warehouse.
And funny enough, it's a rich man, no?
It's a rich man, no,
Okay.
politician at that. Okay, stored them up in a warehouse, and then the rice was actually decaying because
It was hidden
it
somewhere.
was hidden somewhere, and then the cold did not allow it to stay safe there.
Come on.
Okay, and then the other person too, I don't want to mention names.
Obviously,
I don't want to
obviously.
mention names. The other person used it to share as birthday gifts, as her own birthday gift.
Really?
Printed her picture on top of the rice,
the rice.
bag, okay, and then shared it to people
Come
as
on.
her own birthday gift. Why are we doing this? Why are we being wicked to ourselves with just food? Okay, so
Just
there's nothing worth celebrating in this country about the World Food Day. There's no food, there's nothing.
We should. Okay.
So
Take-
there's no food. Okay, so there's nothing worth celebrating if you ask me.
Okay. Regardless of what is happening, at least we have a day like this. That's the joy. At least we have a day where we get to sit back and cast our minds and see we necessarily don't have food.
I really hope we actually do better.
Okay. So
I hope our government specifically should do better.
should do better. That's your parting words, your best of advice to the federal government. They should actually do better. We should not be having days like this and still be
I
hungry.
still be hungry.
Okay.
Things are hard. Times are hard
Okay.
in this part of the world.
All right. Thank you very much. It's really an honor having you around. Thank you. All right, my dear viewers, just like the guests we've had today, they have been able to show their reactions regarding the World Food Day. I want you to slide to our comment sections and drop your reactions. Do you think Nigerians generally should celebrate days like this? All right, my name is Eyo Okeme, and this has been the New Super Review here on TAF TV. Do you want to take care of yourself?